Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once stated, "We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools." But what happened to these words of wisdom? Every day when I turn on the TV, I see that someone, somewhere, has been killed. That a group of people are protesting violently, killing those both innocent and guilty. That ISIS has committed another terrorist attack. When I get on Facebook, I see people fiercely arguing over things as small as politics, like who should be the next president. Why are one person's beliefs more significant than another person's beliefs? Why exactly do we as humans have this obsession with fighting, with arguing? Why must we always be right and attempt to convince those with different beliefs that they are wrong? It seems to be that people would rather kill than live with those with opposing opinions. Today, I would like to talk about what causes us to be violent, how to stop being violent, and why we must stop being violent. To start off, I'm going to discuss the history and science behind violence and why it needs to come to an end. We've all been there. We've had somebody do us wrong, anger us, and try to put us down. Our animalistic sides encourage us to be defensive, to stand up for ourselves. According to Craig Kennedy, professor of special education and pediatrics at Vanderbilt University of Tennessee, aggression occurs among virtually all vertebrates, and it is necessary to get and keep important resources such as mates, territory, and food. This here proves that there is a need for aggression. That being said, the world today is not a constant battle for food or territory. We aren't in a war because we are lacking space or necessities. We have been in and out of war since the beginning of time, all due to religion, race, hate, and the overwhelming want for power. They have discovered, Kennedy states, that the reward pathway in the brain becomes engaged in response to an aggressive event, therefore causing the craving for violence. This is the same idea that when a dog does a trick, he receives a treat. As humans, when we respond with aggression, dopamine is released, causing us to receive a natural high. This encourages us to respond aggressively more often. Supporting this theory, Dr. Anaya Mandel, author of Dopamine Functions at newsmedical.net, states that dopamine is released during pleasurable situations and stimulates one to seek out the pleasurable activity or occupation. On the contrary, the effects of aggressive behavior are not pleasant. It causes us to repeatedly ruin long-term relationships and friendships, as well as affect our jobs and even go as far to affect our lifestyles. But let's go back to those four sensitive subjects that America likes to repress: religion, race, hate, and power. This country was supposedly founded on freedom. That is, as long as you were a white Protestant male with money. But why is it that no one else was acceptable? Both Edward Judge and John Langdon, authors of Connections, A World History, state that people often feared outsiders as potentially dangerous foes. History has proved this statement to be valid over and over again. As humans, we're known for being scared of those who are different from us. When we don't understand something, our thoughts about the subjects become blurred, inevitably causing false accusations. These accusations are what have led us to prejudice, stereotypes, and ultimately, discrimination. According to John D. Carl, author of Think Social Problems 2013, in 2008, there were 926 active hate groups in the United States alone. Think about how much time, effort, and passion are put into these negative groups over the course of only a year. Imagine how much we, as the United States, could do if those 926 groups joined together to favor something positive. Imagine if we saw each other by our accomplishments and our actions, not our skin color or social status. If we continue to have this predisposition based on superficial things, such as race or religion, then how could we possibly move forward from our past of severe racism and supremacy? If we continue these selfish ways, the aggression will result in hatred, and they will act together to create violence. This is the cause of 926 hate groups. This is the cause of countless shootings. And this is the cause of our endless terrorist attacks in the world today. It's up to us. If we do not stop, the fighting cannot stop. So, how do we change? My plan is simple. All we need to do is accept. When someone disagrees with you, actually listen to their reason why. Trust me, you will learn something from them. We all have different opinions, and that's something that we should feed on as a community, as a nation. We should encourage everyone to learn something from others, to accept our differences. Once we accept, we gain knowledge. And once we gain knowledge, we lose ignorance. And once we lose that detrimental ignorance, we lose ill-founded bias, stereotypes, prejudice, and eventually, both aggression and violence will be stopped. But it's not as difficult as it may sound. It doesn't have to be hard. Just take 1 minute out of your day to say something positive to a stranger. Tell someone they're beautiful, smart, funny, maybe even all three. We will never know someone's full story, so we can never accurately judge someone. There is no possible way to completely understand what another person is going through. We are all people. We all have lives with friends and families, and we all make mistakes. It's easy to judge those mistakes, looking down on others. Yet, it's even easier to accept, forgive, and be there for one another. So, at the end of the day, that 1 minute, less than 0.5% of your day, could be the difference in somebody else's life. In conclusion, violence is one of the major issues in the world today, mainly due to aggression and prejudice. To stop these reckless habits, we must accept our differences. All we need to do is lift each other up and stop bringing each other down. I encourage you all to forgive, yet never forget. For when we forget is when we make all of the same mistakes over again.